everybody. I am going to just do a quick little face to run out and run some errands for the day. I did want to show how I kind of fix my under eyes without spending a lot. So I like to use Colourpop. There's two concealers that I use in order to do that. So first I'm going to just put on my regular foundation, and then I will do my under eye. Now sometimes I will conceal under my eye before I put on foundation. It just kind of depends on my mood. I'll go ahead and put the concealer that I use that has like a reddish tone. I'll put that first before I put on my foundation. Then once my foundation's on, I will either go put more of the red and then a lighter concealer, or I will just put my foundation first and then put the reddish concealer and the lighter concealer on at the same time. So I am recording this on my new camera. I actually went ahead and purchased a camera. I've been putting this off for years. So before, when I was making content, I was only using my phone. I think I did have a camera, but I wasn't able to record on that camera. So I'm trying this out for the first time, and I'm really anxious to see how it's going to look after I take it off my camera and edit it. Kind of have to figure that out too, if I want to use Adobe Premiere again, or maybe looking to get some type of Apple laptop to use Final Cut Pro, because I did find that a little bit easier to navigate last time I checked. So I used to have, I guess, like an online presence before, if that's what you want to call it. And I've been through lots of transitions. So actually my first start, back up, my name is Brittany. I'm married, I have 4 kids. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I actually live in a suburb outside of Atlanta, but that's irrelevant. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have a full-time job outside of trying to do this here online. So that's different than before. So I've had several, I guess, transitions online, you could say. So I first used to make jewelry. So I made jewelry, and I think that was, I don't know, maybe 2006, not even 20, maybe 2006, 2008, maybe 2008, because it was maybe 2 years or so before I graduated college. I was online and I had a presence, and that was like very early in the land of blogging. I had a blog, and I sold jewelry under 214. That's initially what I wanted to start my jewelry under, was 214. But then it was hard to, I think, like make a number as your business. So I was finding that challenging. So somehow I ended up using Miss B Fab. So I was kind of using both, which is really weird. I wanted to use 214, but that just wasn't working out, like as far as a business license. I don't think you could just have numbers. It was weird, and I think I wanted to do it as like a time stamp, and it just wasn't working out. So, I forgot to set my eyes. So from there, I was doing jewelry, and I was trying to do jewelry full time, but that just was really hard because I was making custom jewelry. So, I mean, if you've ever done anything custom, for one, it takes time as far as communication of what people want. And I just wasn't charging a lot, because to me, it is earrings, jewelry. I personally am only going to pay so much for jewelry. So it just wasn't really working out. I had to find a way to actually make some money. So from there, I pretty much stopped being online. But this is early on. This is before influencer days and all of that. So I stopped being online, just had a regular job. And at this point, I had my son, my first son, and then graduated and had my daughter in 2012. And so from there, I just stayed home with her. At that point, we're living in North Carolina. Then, not too long after that, I ended up pregnant with my other daughter, and they were only 18 months apart. So that was definitely a full-time job in itself. So from there, I stayed home with them. I think it ended up being maybe about 4 years. But within that 4 years, I did start back online. So the very first thing I did is I made a YouTube video on couponing. So while I began to stay at home and we were just living on one income, things are just kind of like adding up. Like, we're living real adult life, but I guess we weren't being as conscious about spending as we needed to be. And so it was just getting old, right? So I was like, you know what, we gotta figure something out. So I started following Dave Ramsey, the Total Money Makeover. So I was following him and just started doing some of his steps. So from there, we really got on track. Like, I had to convince my husband, but once I convinced him, he was like all the way on board and was like being even a stickler more than I was about spending. And we were able to pay off $90,000 of debt within two years. Might have been 2 years or 18 months. And so from there, I just got really, I guess, excited and wanted to share what we were doing. And I thought it would be cool to share it online. And so one of the ways that I was able to save money, I started couponing. Because of course I had to buy diapers, a lot of food to feed, you know, my whole household. And so I made a YouTube video on couponing. Now, I think that video is still up, and it did decent for me as far as no one knowing me and putting a video up. So from there, I just got back into wanting to be online and doing stuff in that space and really finding, I guess, a love for creating content. So I started creating content on saving money, making budgets. So I started going live. I was doing like Periscope. So that's when Periscope like first was out there and really big. So I was on there and I met like a lot of people online that way. And it was almost like a community at that point of people just starting their business, using Periscope as a way to get started. You know, all that. So from there, I was finding more people kind of asking me, well, how are you making your graphics? How are you making this? How are you putting this online? Like, as far as doing webinars. And so for me, I found it, you know, very easy to do. So somehow I ended up kind of finding more, I guess, traffic doing graphics and helping people in that manner. It was hard helping people with finances. I feel like they didn't want to actually put in the work. Like, they can complain up and down about, you know, how bad their finances are, but it's just hard to break out of those habits and to see that, hey, there is another way that you can actually be doing this. So so I just kind of left the finances stuff alone and kind of saying, I kind of transitioned over to like bootstrapping to be an entrepreneur, using Squarespace, how to make your logos. I started doing little stuff like that. So that's kind of where I ended online, but that started to be very overwhelming because, you know, not in a negative way or that everyone needs to have stuff together, but I was helping a lot of people who were new to being online. So although they think a website kind of puts them on the map, it's like, you know, there's other steps. First, you know, you need to understand your business. You need to know what you're selling. You know, we can't go through the website process when, you know, you don't have all the stuff you need to do a website. So, so that's kind of where I ended with it. It just became overwhelming. I felt like I was doing other stuff outside of just creating websites, which is the part that I actually enjoy, was the graphics and all that. Putting their pictures together. But that was the thing too, like coming in with quality pictures. Like, you know, you're not going to be happy with your end result of your website if you see other people's websites and you think, oh, why doesn't mine look that way? It's like, well, your pictures have to be up to par. We have to have words so we can actually say about your business to, you know, entice people. Because even after you have your website, you know, what do you want people to do on your website? How do you want it to help you generate business? So I just kind of got burnt out from it. We also decided to move from North Carolina. I don't know if I said that part. We were living in North Carolina at that time. So we decided to move back to Atlanta. So it was just a lot. So I went from doing that to kind of doing like Arise and work from home stuff. Answering calls, little stuff like that. Until I, you know, decided what I wanted to do next. So I basically from there got an actual full-time in-person job. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. That was a significant break, a long break, but I think it was needed for me to figure out how I want to show up. And now I'm just back and I want to actually do fun content, you know, nothing too overwhelming at the moment, and just making sure that whatever I decide, I have those boundaries in place to keep myself sane and not doing things, and not to say I was just doing things for the money. I think I was just doing things to continue to be out there because that's the part that I enjoy. But I didn't necessarily enjoy I won't say I didn't enjoy the websites, but I started to not like it. And I think anyone who does websites can kind of feel me on that. So, but it wasn't everyone, it was me as well, just figuring out how to set up boundaries and run a business properly. So that was on me. But yeah, now I want to just do some lifestyle content, some makeup content, because I have been playing in makeup. I've been doing makeup for people here and there. And so I want to continue to do that. I want to, yeah, just inspire you guys to do anything that you've had on your heart to do and you're putting it off for what reason, just because you can talk yourself out of it. So I want to talk you into it. So yeah, so let's get into these under eyes. I've done enough talking. Let's get into The 3 products I use to do my under eyes are really simple. This is an e.l.f. concealer brush. Doesn't cost much. I think $6 at the max, $8 at the max. And then the Colourpop no filter concealers, I think they're $6. Don't quote me on any of this, but I know it's between $6 and $8. And I have 2 shades. So this shade is like a reddish tone. This is my favorite for concealing even dark spots under makeup, on top of makeup, or when I say makeup, I mean foundation. So this is shade 50. And then I use this shade 40 to highlight over that. So I don't know if you can see under my eyes, so we can see the difference. But then I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on. So I don't put on much. Just right there in the corner is most important. And you can use a beauty blender or a sponge. I prefer to use a brush. I don't know, I just find it quicker to have my brush than that thing. But I use both, don't get me wrong. And then I'm going in with the lighter tone. That's pretty much in the corner, especially if you're doing just kind of like a daytime look. Easy peasy, right? You see the difference? So I will go ahead and finish the rest of my face and I will come back. Here is everything. Just quick little face. And I forgot to mention, I am actually sporting my earrings. So I am starting 214. I know I was talking about it earlier again. So I just got to get everything set up and then I will be active with selling my jewelry again. But not like before, it won't be custom in that sense. Like I'll have set pieces, very simple jewelry that I wear all the time is pretty much gold earrings, like hoops. You can't go wrong. Like they, in my mind, they go with everything, every single thing, and I wear them every single day. So why not sell them? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about me, and stay tuned.